All right, what is going on, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to the KC Sports Report. As always, I'm your host, Michael Darcy, and today I'm going to break down some of the best offensive lineman prospects in the 2021 NFL Draft. So, as we all know, the Chiefs are in dire need of a left tackle. We've known this for a long time now, and for the past 2 months, all of you have been suggesting me to make a draft video. And I thought, oh shoot, I know nothing about these players. So for the past 2 weeks, all I've done is watch tape, and read draft reviews about all of these players. And I will say that for this video, I picked a lot of left tackles. There are some guards in this video, but the majority of these players can play left tackle or tackles in general. So I just kind of wanted to say that before we started. But also, I took a lot of time in this video. There's a lot of notes written down. So if you do enjoy this video and I missed a player that you want to hear in the future, let me know down in the comments below. And also like this video for more of the best Chiefs content on YouTube. Nobody's doing it like us, and we're going to keep growing, and hopefully we're going to have a great draft this year. So the first player that I have on my board is left tackle Samuel Cosmi. He is a left tackle coming out of Texas, and in my opinion, this dude is one of the most flashy prospects in the draft. And what I mean by that is he's technically sound. He's a good offensive lineman, very good at left tackle, but his athleticism blows me out of the water. I mean, this is a dude that can play on both sides of the line, left tackle and right tackle, and he did that at Texas, but he was more of a left tackle, of course. But he's just an athletic freak. He's 6'7", 309, and he ran a 4.85 at the 40-yard dash. And he put 36 reps on bench. And for anybody that lifts, that is very impressive. That's 36 reps of 225. So this dude is just a freak. I mean, he is quite possibly one of the most athletic prospects in recent memory, and I think that the Chiefs love to get athletic linemen. So if I'm Brett Veach and he's available at the end of the first round, I'm taking this dude. Now, some people have him mocked as a mid-second round pick or a very late first-round pick, but in my opinion, he's probably going to be somewhere near the end of the first round, or at the very least mid-second, because his pro day was so good when he put up those numbers. I don't think that he's going to slip much farther. So, in my opinion, he would really fit this offensive line, and he would be a very good left tackle that could start on opening day. So, like I said, I would draft him. He's one of my favorite prospects in the draft, but there's a lot of good players on this list. So the next player is Alex Leatherwood. He is a left tackle from Alabama, and we all know that he protected Mac Jones, he protected Tua, some of the better quarterbacks, prospects at least, in the draft. And, you know, I like this dude. He's got solid footwork, good vision. He makes good use of his blocking angles. He did play both right tackle and left tackle, but he's more of a left tackle naturally. The problem is, though, he's not very strong. He needs to bulk up, in my opinion, to be an NFL lineman. I don't think that he could go up against a more athletic defensive end and hold his own. I mean, he's just not strong enough. But I do think that this guy is technically more ready than a lot of people, just because he was an offensive lineman at such a good school. He didn't actually get to play until I think it was sophomore, junior year, just because there are so many good line prospects at Bama. So I don't really know if this would be a great pickup, because I think that he needs a bit of work. Because he also just doesn't finish blocks, because I think that that's probably because he's not strong enough to finish out the play. So in my opinion, you pass up on this guy, but I think that he could develop into a very good athlete, because he has high upside. So I wouldn't pick him necessarily, but if he's available, I wouldn't be upset with the pick. Now, the next lineman is Jackson Carman. He's a huge dude. He's 6'5", 335. He was a left tackle at Clemson. He had to protect Trevor Lawrence for the past 2 years, so he had that pressure on him. And I think that he's got a good base, solid upper body strength, and he's got good hands. So if the Chiefs are looking for somebody that is more refined and kind of reminds them of a little smaller, no, probably a little bit bigger Eric Fisher, I think that could be an option. He plays very hard-nosed football. He's a very good run blocker, but he's very inconsistent when it comes to dropping back in pass pro. So if the Chiefs are looking for somebody purely based off their pass protection skills, this guy probably isn't it. Like I said, he's more of a run blocker, but I think that this is a guy that's probably going to be in the second round, so I don't think the Chiefs would take him. But at the same time, he's just so big and athletic, I wouldn't even be against the pick. So This one's kind of tough because, like I said, offensive linemen from big schools are either hit or miss. I mean, we've seen guys come from like Eastern Michigan and be successful, and ones that come from Michigan and be successful. So it's not really a matter of what school you go to, but I mean, if you've gone to Clemson and you protected Trevor Lawrence, it's going to mean more than somebody who protected a no-name at like a smaller non-Power 5 school. So I do think that is something to look at, but in my opinion, I don't think that he's quite ready to be in the NFL because he's good, but he's going to have trouble against very good pass rushers. Now, the next prospect is one that has been listed for the past, 2 or 3 months, ever since the Chiefs lost the Super Bowl, and that is Notre Dame left tackle Liam Eichenberg. And, this is a guy that is very intriguing because he's probably the most technically sound offensive lineman in the draft, besides the big three of like Penny Sewell, Darisaw, and Slater. This is a dude that could start day one. I mean, he's ready to play at the NFL level, but in my opinion, he doesn't have a ton of upside. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but he's as close to his ceiling as he can possibly be. But he was a very good college player. He was a 3-year starter at Notre Dame. Like I said, very refined, technically sound. He was first team ACC, along with a ton of other accolades. He's got a good frame. He's got solid athleticism. Like I said, he's not the most athletic, but for what he's got, it would work. So that's not necessarily a huge knock on him, but he also, for a positive, he learned under Quentin Nelson and Ronnie Stanley, which are two very good offensive linemen in the NFL. So if there's one thing that we want, it's somebody who learned under Quentin Nelson, who's one of the best guards in the game. So I do think that would be a solid pick, but like I said, he's not going to blow your mind away with his athleticism. He's not going to be a top 5 tackle in the league or anything like that, but he'll be solid. And this is a good pickup, and the Chiefs need somebody at left tackle. So if they did get to the end of the first round and Eichenberg is still there, I think they're probably taking him. But I also have something deep down in my mind that says that the Chiefs are not going to take Eichenberg because he's just been mocked to us for like the past 3 months, and I think that they'd probably go with somebody else. The next player is Jalen Mayfield. He's a right tackle prospect, very inexperienced. He only played 15 games at Michigan, or started 15 games at Michigan, and he's also very young. He's only 20 years old. So in my opinion, this would be a pretty poor pick. He's projected to be a very late first rounder or a mid-second rounder. I don't think this is a good pick. I mean, like I said, he's so inexperienced. He's got very good athleticism, but he's just so raw as a player. And I don't want that specifically. I mean, first of all, we don't need a right tackle right now. We got Lucas Niang. We signed Mike Remmers. And I think that he's not going to make the transition to left tackle. It's just not going to happen. So do the Chiefs take a flyer on somebody who could develop to be a great player? I mean, maybe, but I don't think that Jalen Mayfield is the right guy. Like I said, he's just too raw as a player, and he's also not what the Chiefs need. The next player is Teven Jenkins. This dude is basically a right tackle who played very little left tackle. He started 35 games at Oklahoma State. He's got very strong and quick feet. He's a smart player. He's just an athlete, too. He's one of the better athletic prospects in the draft. He's good in pass blocking, but he actually shines as a run blocker. So, again, if the Chiefs are looking for somebody purely for pass pro, probably not the guy. But also, I think that he's been compared a lot as a left tackle in the game, even though he hasn't played a lot of left tackle. So, I don't know if this is a guy that you just draft and then move him over to the left side. Like I said, he probably could play left tackle, but I don't think that this dude's going to make the transition and be a great left tackle day one. And the Chiefs need somebody that can be a solid or above average player at the left tackle position day one. And I don't think that this is the guy. But like I said, he's got NFL level athleticism. I just think that he's not there quite yet. The next player is Alijah Vera-Tucker, and this dude, from what I have read, is one of the most schematic fits in the draft. And what I mean by that is from the PFF grades to the mock drafts to the draft profiles that I've read, this is a dude that fits Andy Reid's zone blocking scheme the best. And that's not just me saying that. I've read it from PFF and a lot of different places. he is going to be a very good guy in pass protection. But the problem is at USC, he played a lot of, I think it was left tackle. Let me check. He played some tackle at USC, but in the draft process, he's been compared to as an NFL guard. So we know the Chiefs have a lot of guards already. I mean, Joe Thuney, Kyle Long, LDT. So I don't really know if they would draft this dude. And more specifically, he's projected to be a mid-first round pick. So he's probably not going to slip to us. But I think this dude is going to be insane because he's just such a great pass blocker. From what I've actually read, he is one of the best pass protection linemen in the draft, behind obviously the big three of Slater, Darrisaw, and Sewell. But I think that if he does slip, even though the Chiefs aren't in major need of a guard, this tackle group is so deep that if this dude does slip, I don't think you can pass him up. Even though the Chiefs have enough guards as it is, this dude's upside is insanely high. So I think that you've got to draft this guy if he does slip. And the final player on the list that I have is center Creed Humphrey. He played at Oklahoma. He had 36 straight starts, so he's a workhorse. He's a left-handed center, but from what I read, he's actually not the most athletically gifted, but he could get by off of his IQ and just his football knowledge. So I don't really know if this is the guy. I mean, like I said, we've got enough interior offensive linemen. The struggle right now really is tackle, and specifically left tackle. So in my opinion, the Chiefs are not going to take Humphrey, but it wouldn't be a solid pick, or it wouldn't be a bad pick if you got him in like the second or third round. So yeah, those are my prospects so far. I know I missed some of them, but if you guys have a prospect down in the comments below that you want me to talk about, or a position group you want me to talk about, I will get to that because it's draft season, baby. We're like 2 weeks away or something like that, something crazy. And we're going to do live streams during the draft season. I think that I might actually live stream the draft to give my instant reaction. And hopefully the Chiefs can do the right thing. I mean, I hope Brett Veach doesn't pull a pull a crazy move out of his hat and just draft a wide receiver in the first round or something ridiculous like that. The need right now is left tackle, and as long as the Chiefs can address that, this team does not have that many holes. And I think that with the holes that they do have, they can do a very good job of addressing those needs in the draft. Thank you for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, hit that like button, comment, and subscribe for more of the best Chiefs content on YouTube. You can also follow us on Instagram for more of the latest updates on future videos, as well as instant Chiefs news right after it happens. You can also support the channel via the Patreon, as well as buying merchandise from the KC Sports Report store on Teespring. The links to all of those websites will be in the description. You just listened to the KC Sports Report, presented by Michael Darcy.